My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach, and I want to welcome you to Monday's edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And today we have the whole concept of remembering the real you, the process. How do you actually remember the real you? Not the you that's been made up by this world, but the you that you are. And my guardian angel John came in to discuss this. This is very important. He said the process, the actual process itself is easy. The implementation of the process can be different levels of difficulty for you. Different levels of difficulty for you. I asked him, what do you mean by different levels of difficulty? He said, well, many of you have not understood the distinction between your thoughts and your body and yourself. Many of you think that you are your thoughts. You think you are that body. You think you are not yourself. As a result, the process can be difficult the more entrenched you are in the illusion of who you are not. And the illusion of who you are not is the constructed personality that you find yourself living in. When you become so identified with the thoughts and emotions that are in that mind and body, when you become so lost into those, it is very difficult to really remember who you are. But you came into this world as you are. As you truly are, you came into this world in the bliss of silence and the acceptance through love of all that is. You came into this world with that understanding and that knowing that you are inseparable from all that is. And thereby, as an individual form, you have a responsibility to all that is from that individualized perspective. But in order to make use of that understanding, you must be able to live in it, to recognize it, to operate from that level of consciousness. Many of you struggle with your thoughts and struggle with your emotions, and you even struggle with your body. But these are all things that can be corrected from the perspective of who you truly are. That process is simple. To distinguish yourself from your body, to distinguish yourself from your thoughts, to distinguish yourself from your emotions. Not to separate yourself from them, but to make a distinction between yourself and the mechanisms or the vehicles that you are using while in this creative process that you call the physical dimension. To come to an understanding of the distinction between you, those thoughts, those emotions, and that body that you utilize in this creative realm. The level of control that you have over what your mind will think. The level of control as to how you will allow your body to respond to the conditions of environment. These are very important. For you are the one that gets to choose or decide what thoughts you will think or not think, what thoughts you will allow to influence you or to not influence you, what stimulations in this world you will let gather your attention. These are very important, and the process will differ from individual to individual. In other words, some of you may have environmental conditions where you were raised through that body to be in intensely positive states of emotion and even joy and bliss. Some of you will be raised in environments where you experience great emotional trauma and fear and many thoughts that do not serve you. And for them, it will be more difficult. The closer to joy you are, the easier it is for you to begin this process of remembering and articulating who you are as a proper function of infinite love expressing through that individuality that you have. There is a clear distinction that you may make between your body and your awareness. The chain of command from your consciousness to your body is very obvious. You say to a hand, go up, go down. You say to a leg, go forward, go back. There's a chain of command that you can assert over that body. This is very obvious, although some of you are so caught up in the autonomic reactions to your conditioning that you aren't unable to make that distinction very clearly until you get into a process whereby you begin to assert that authority over your physical structure again consciously. So the how to remember the real you comes from making that distinction between the physical mechanism that you utilize in the creative expression of your energy in this dimension, the emotional elements or the energy, the stuff of the spirit that flows through you that you use to generate changes in matter. And then there's the thoughts that you've been given by this world, the identity that you must learn to also assert authority over rather than be subjective to you. And I have seen great evidence to support that there is a great number of you that are still subjective to the information that this world has imposed upon you in the form of your personalized identity or your individual name or your past experiences, which formulate that individualized identity within the system, but over which you have ultimate control to think or not to think, to alter and change certain emotional qualities, to alter and change physical expressions. Conditions of health and conditions of disease can often be simple changes in qualities of emotion and energy that you choose to allow your consciousness to indulge in. And to whatever emotion you would loan your consciousness, you will bring yourself further from or closer to who you really are. Ultimately, the state of bliss that you naturally live in can only be rediscovered through the distinction of who you are from the mechanism in which you find yourself in that physical body. As I said, the process is easy. Learning to distinguish between your body, your emotions, the personality, the information in your mind, and you as the awareness or the one that originates changes in thought and physical action, because you can originate changes in physical action, as you can originate changes in your thought. You can choose a thought, you can release a thought. You can create a thought, you can uncreate a thought. You can generate emotional qualities, you can ungenerate emotional qualities. There's a very specific and simple process, but the application of which differs in degree of intensity depending upon the nature of your existing personality, what you've been given as an identity from this world, and what you would choose to think, feel, and believe based on that. But the moment you begin to differentiate between the process of thought and your awareness, the process of emotion and your awareness, the process of your body and awareness, and you make that distinction between awareness, mind, emotion, and body, you now begin to move towards the process of remembering who you are. The truth is, you are always who you are. It is simply re-experiencing that as your existing truth. For those of you that can encourage your body to be still, for those of you that can encourage the noise of your emotions to be still, and the process differs in degree and intensity from person to person. The intensity of an emotion for one person may be higher or lower for another, and that degree of intensity or lack thereof can give one a little bit more requirement in terms of expenditure of energy and will in order to transform, transmute, or transcend certain emotional qualities. The same is true also for the physical conditions in your body, which can also be transcended through the proper use of will and emotion. But until you're in that position of distinction between yourself as that which is aware of the thoughts, that you that is aware of the emotions, that you that is aware of the body, and consciously and deliberately articulating changes in each of these as you need to. When you discover that thoughts and emotions that do not serve you, there is a process that you can use to transform, transmute, or transcend certain thoughts and emotional qualities. When you begin to endeavor in that process, you will start to gain over a short period of time a level of efficacy that will let you know that you can assert authority over thought and emotion. Many of you subjugate yourselves unwittingly to your emotions by thinking that they are somehow greater than you are. And your emotions are not greater than you are. They're merely the energy resource that you have to utilize to create changes in your conditions and experiences of time and space. But an understanding that the level of effort and energy going into changing one emotion over another can be different. Some of you will utilize chemical interference to alter and change your emotional qualities because you've not developed the understanding nor the will to begin to lovingly, and we stress the word lovingly, alter and change qualities of emotion. When you experience an emotion that you do not like, attacking it is not the way to restore yourself to love. To willfully want to smash it out of your mind is not a way to restore love into your mind. To lovingly understand how to interact with emotional qualities of a negative kind will equip you much quicker with an understanding of how to work with emotional energy as a mechanism of creative force, which interacts with and changes physical conditions in your body and in the world around you. My reason for bringing this discussion through William today was very simple: understanding that the greatest need that you have in this world today is that of awakening to who you are, remembering in the present moment that which you are always, to extricate your awareness from its straitjacket of the past thoughts and emotions that often straitjacket you from feeling like you can operate the way you choose to in this world. So in learning to reestablish your authority, your loving authority over thought, over emotion, and over body, you will begin in a very short time to discover your own creative power as it truly is in the essence of your being. When you came into that body, you were the essence of your being in that body. You had no need. You had no need for anything. And if anything happened to that body, you would not have felt you'd lost anything. Although others around you might have felt that, but you, from the experiential perspective of that being, would have lost nothing. For you are that finger of the divine that remains on his hand and her hand always. How to remember. You are the one that is aware of your thoughts. You are the one that is aware of your emotions. You are the one that is aware of that body. And if you understand these simple statements, then you, as the awareness, know that your thoughts are not you, that your emotions are not you, that your body is not you, but these are instruments that must be coordinated by you in such a fashion as to make you highly effective in the process of creating. Whether that process of creating is art or building or whatever you choose to express that energy as, you are free to. When you know you are free to, many of you are imprisoned by your thoughts and emotions, not necessarily being aware that these are simply mechanisms of creation. But as this new awareness begins to be repeatedly offered to you, as you begin to grasp the understanding that your thoughts are not who you are, that your emotions are not who you are, that that body is not who you are, as you begin to fully embrace and articulate that reality, your capacity to alter and change the conditions in which you find yourself will improve more than exponentially to the good. For when you move into the position where you are deliberately orchestrating thought, emotion, and matter, which is your body and the world around you, as you get to the awareness that you can deliberately articulate thought, emotion, and matter, you move into a realm of deliberate creating. And there are many of you on this dimension who understand this concept of deliberate creating, but few of you understand this concept that you are the deliberate creator. That thought and emotion are simply instruments of creation and not something that you were designed to be subjective to. the only reason you became subjective to the thoughts that you find yourself stewing in sometimes, or the emotions you find yourself struggling with, is because you've been simply trained into that. You were indoctrinated into that the thoughts are you, that the emotions are you, that you somehow cannot change them or alter them. They are just what they are. And I say to you, this is not true whatsoever. Your thoughts and emotions and your physiology are amenable to your awareness. As amenable to your awareness as your hand is amenable to your thought to open and close it, or to pick up a container to drink fluid from. When you understand this relationship that you, as the awareness, we like to use the term soul, have over thought, emotion, and matter is absolute when you are clearly in that understanding of who you truly are. Wow. Thank you, John. This process that he's talking about is so important. Humanity, every human individual is a divine creation. We all came into this world as an extension of love. We came in answer to the call for love. And here you are. And here I am. And here is all else of humanity. We have a choice about whether or not we will wake up or not. And, John was very clear about this morning when he first brought it to me. He said, if people cannot assert their own will over their own mind, then it will be left for others to do that on their behalf. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, if people cannot recognize that they have thought and emotion that they can choose, change, and alter, then they will default to being manipulated and controlled by others. Those that cannot choose their own thinking process, those that cannot learn to work with the mechanism of energy, or what you call emotion, those of you that cannot work with the mechanism of body deliberately and consciously, will become subjective to the ideations and influences of others, whether you agree with them or not, or disagree with them or not. If you are unable to recognize the difference in your subjectivity over thought and emotion, then you will be subjective to them. This is very important to understand, that you did not come into this world to be subjective. You came into this world to be creative. And creative is what you will be one way or another. You can default your creative process by not exercising it, but you cannot get rid of your creative process, for it is yours, and it is all. And each and every one of you has this creative capacity without limit or restriction, unless you so choose to place one in your mind. Then you shall have that. And you shall not be judged for your errors, for time from the perspective of who you truly are is very fleeting. You get to experience infinite time in the nature of who you are versus the conditions of your mind and body, which experience time in a very short frame. It is very fleeting, literally the blink of your eye. And when you understand that, you will not be so concerned, but you'll be more diligent about waking up sooner rather than later. Wow. Anyway, that's the way my morning has started out. And I want to, again, John, thank you so much for being present with us. We'll take some questions. It's important. He says it's really important that you get this to at least a small degree, that your thoughts are not who you are. Your emotions are not who you are. Your body is not who you are. These are instruments of creation that you as a soul or a spiritual consciousness utilize in learning the creative process through this experience of time and space. It's very important you at least get a grip on those basic ideas that your thoughts are not you. Your emotions are not you. Your body is not you. These are instruments in the act of deliberate creation that you as a soul or spiritual consciousness utilizes in learning the process of creation in this dimension of time and space. Wow. Okay, let's just see where I put my glasses. It's okay. We'll take that. Okay. So a question from Hannah. Hi, William. I've been manifesting all of my desires so well recently, but a promise that was made by my dream job just fell through. Is this a test of faith, and is it actually on its way? Well, the immediate answer there is, again, as long as you are captured by certain qualities of emotion, and I wish to be very clear on this, you must understand, I told William several years ago that emotion is the fifth state of energy. It is the fifth state of energy, and its application organizes and arranges all the other four states of energy below that. Solids, liquids, gases, and plasma are subjective to the influence of emotional fields, waves, and quanta. And so the nature of the emotion that you have around this is of paramount importance. The idea of your dream job is just the idea of your dream job, but the emotion surrounding that idea determines its manifestation and how it shall manifest. If you are not attached to the nature and quality of how things will appear to you, because they will appear to you according to your faith, according to your emotion, according to your thought, so it shall be unto you. And so the nature of your dream job is an emotion and a thought. And it is that emotion and thought that give form to the conditions of your experience of matter. I would strongly encourage you to realign yourself to the joy of your fulfillment at this job, to remain in that joy, to know that that joy is precipitating the fulfillment of the dream job, because the dream job, as you think it might be, may be very different than what it actually is for you, because your mind has certain thoughts about reality, whereas you as an awareness know a certain reality. And when your awareness can transcend thought, you can transcend the limits of thought. So do not be too caught up in the thought, but we encourage you to be very strongly connected to the emotion surrounding that, and let every day of your consciousness be saturated by that emotion, and watch the wonder of your emotion manifest the change. Do not be afraid of change, because that is your nature to experience change. Do not be afraid of change. Be delighted in the emotion of your bliss, of the fulfillment of your dreams. Be in alignment with that so deeply that that is all that will happen. The changing momentary things of the world will change. The energy is always fulfilled as it is. The energy is always fulfilled as it is. If your energy is of joy, if your energy is of sadness, very specific events and conditions of material experience are inevitable. So it is very important then to align yourself to the qualities of emotion that would supersede your mental limitations, because your emotion is the very substance that conditions in matter, in your physical matter and in the world around you. The emotion of freedom will precipitate certain things. The emotion of joy will precipitate certain things. The emotion of sadness will precipitate certain experiences. The emotion is organizing the conditions of matter that you find yourself in, dear Hannah. And so rejoice in your fulfillment. The emotion organizes the conditions. Emotion will transcend the limits of your thought. This is why you have so many teachers on this planet that focus on getting you into the energy of a thing, because energy is emotion in motion. That is what your emotions are. Wonderful. Oh, thank you for that super chat, Yvonne. Really appreciate that. Wow, great question, Hannah. So grateful. Question from Jana. How do I stop the emotion of clinging without seeing it as unwanted and attacking? He's laughing. He's saying, no. It's not the emotion of clinging. It's the emotion of fear that you believe you're not going to have what you want. You only grasp when you believe you cannot have. You do not grasp when you know you can have. When you know you have, there is no need. There's no clinging. There's no seeking to grab it. Release your fear Again, you have a thought about what the sensation is, and now you're stuck in the thought of the idea of clinging, but you need to change the emotion to a fearless state, to a state of joy, to a state that you will be fulfilled, not necessarily by that person or that situation, but your emotion will fulfill you if you are in alignment with your joy. If you're in alignment with your bliss, then there is a certain inevitability that happens in the conditions of time, space, and matter. In a state of joy, and all of you have experienced this, in a state of joy, do you not feel your body is more vibrant and alive? Even those who are very ill, when they begin to laugh, they feel better because the emotional quality is organizing the conditions of matter. But those with illnesses often do not work hard enough to sustain a high enough frequency of joy and happiness and contentment that it has a chance to change their physiology. They get lost in the pain and the suffering, and they amplify that emotional quality. And again, it is not a fault or an error or flaw on anybody's part. You've never been taught this. But as you gain the experience and knowledge of this, then you can begin to apply it in earnest. And like anything else, the more you apply it, the easier it gets to understand, because your experience begins to validate the nature of what you're doing with this energy. It's wonderful. Very wonderful. Question from Drusilla. I'm getting a picture of a cloud. You're literally on a cloud. They're saying cloud 9, Drusilla. Cloud 9. Yeah. Somebody else is showing me, some Arabian is showing me the carpet from Aladdin. Question from Ruth. How to quit smoking? Wow. Ruth, let me answer that. Yes. I smoked for 30 years. And I remember sitting down with my cigarette, about to light it, and I questioned the urge. I had this urge to smoke. And I thought, wait a minute, I've got this urge, it's in me. And I'm not smoking the cigarette yet. But what is this urge? I began to question the urge to smoke. And as I questioned it, the thought came up to my mind, this isn't an urge for something, it's something within me seeking to emerge. And then I asked the next question, what is this that I call an urge? If it is something to emerge, then what is it within me that wants to emerge? And I immediately got the idea, write. So I literally started writing. And I started writing prolifically for many years. And my smoking just stopped. Like over a 6-month period, it went down, it was gone. Every time I got the urge, I started to write. I get the urge, I'd start to write. And literally the very first day, I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker. And I'm going back maybe 25 years, 26 years now. And I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker. And literally after the first day, I literally cut in half. By the end of that first week, that package was cut in half. By the end of the third week, it was halved. And by the end of like the 5th week or 6th week, I was literally down to like 1 cigarette a day. And that lasted for a couple of months. And again, as my writing increased, my need for cigarettes lessened, because now the natural expression was being fulfilled. So I think all addictions are based on a natural expression that never got a chance to be fulfilled. But we're so conditioned by our environment to think that our fulfillment comes from out there, that we're going to find our satisfaction, our fulfillment will come from the priest, the minister, the friend, the lover, the money, the car, the candy. We've been so trained to think that our needs are fulfilled from out there exclusively, and they're not. You are a divine being. You came here to express a divine expression that's unique to you. So when you get that urge for a cigarette, Ruthie, I challenge you to do this. When you get that urge for a cigarette, ask that urge, what is it you would like to do? Ask it, what is it that wants to emerge, instead of what you need to get to satisfy that urge. What is trying to emerge? Ask that question. What is trying to emerge? I was blown away how quickly, as a 30-year smoker, 2-pack a day, and that fast. So find out what it is that's wanting to emerge, and then do it. And you'll find your need for smoking will diminish really, really rapidly. That was my experience, and I pray that that is yours. But the mechanics of it for me worked really, 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 really well. And I got it, right? And I didn't have the guidance I have now then. I think I just had my intuition working for me, that I got into that place I could talk to that part of myself. You know, every part of yourself has a need. Thank you so much for that. Oh, you're welcome, Heather. Question from Marjorie. How can I get a birthday message? Can I get a birthday message? A birthday message from Marjorie. Oh, dance among the flowers. Dance among the flowers. Roll upon the grass. Drink the waters clean. That your spirit will grow fast. Wow. Again, I'm seeing you literally rolling around flowers, wildflowers in a field, and rolling along the grass and being like a child, and drinking lots of water, right? Staying really hydrated. But yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Question from Ruth. How to manage real hard times. He says the first word you must remember is the word love. You must remember your nature, that your nature is love. If you remember who you are, there will be no suffering, and what suffering there is will diminish. What suffering there is will diminish when you remember who you truly are. And the nature and quality of your being is that of the very Creator itself. You are love. If any of you were to remember this, even for an instant, your suffering would be gone. All suffering would be gone if you remember your true nature. And even your body would yield to you in gratitude, for the vibration of love instills very different conditions in your physiology than does the vibrations of fear. Question from Kathy. I have recently healed my body of an autoimmune disease with the mind. I have now started teaching the process and helping others to do the same. Is there any guidance on how to do this best? He's laughing. He's saying, he's saying you are doing the best. He's saying you are doing the best. You have the experience. Fear not. Fear not to share what you have learned with others. Show them the steps that you took. It is up to them to follow, but you know you have healed, so you know the truth. And the truth, because you know it, is the greatest instrument of teaching. To know the truth from your own experience is the greatest instrument of teaching. It is the greatest instrument of teaching, to know. And you know, dear one, you know. And trust that knowing is greater than questioning. When you know the truth, it will set you free, and your truth will set others free because you know it true. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat, Drusilla. Really appreciate it. Question from Khan. What can we do for the global world living in their 3D emotions and fear? Give love like we do in the 1 Billion Strong movement? Yes, thank you, Khan. I'm going to answer that question. This whole process we're watching on the planet right now is a creative process. It's a polarized dance between love and fear. And you cannot serve both of them. Only one master can lead at a time. And throughout history, humanity has lived in great fear and peril. And at other times, humanity has thrived and lived in great love and creative expression. And we're seeing right now the scales are tipping again. And the only way that I'm guided is to create, like the group 1 Billion Strong, to offer that love to the world. But I've also been guided to become very proactive. I've been guided to go out and speak the truth that I understand. That certain things, that we are in a dimension of choice, of free will. This is not a dimension for enslavement, although there are beings trying to make it that right now. This is a dimension of free creative choice. And to go out and act and share that knowledge with other people is very important. Very, very important. To share that truth. It's wonderful because I do that too. I send love out to the world all the time. And we've watched how it's changed the way the sun's responding. We've watched how large solar flares suddenly get dissipated. So we already know that the effects of love on time-space are evident, but every individual has free will. An individual has the free will to think bad thoughts, to do bad things. They have that free will. And we can't force them to change, but we can offer our love in such a way as to incline them to consider something else. And again, most people have been conditioned by this world. Most people have been conditioned by this world to believe that life is a certain way. So to speak the truth is a really important thing too. The 1 Billion Strong movement, for those of you that are wondering what that is, I have a Facebook group called 1 Billion Strong that my guardian angel John told me to set up 2.5 years ago. And the primary function of this group, 1 Billion Strong, is to encourage people at 12 noon every day and 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. every day, or at least twice a day for 5 minutes. Move into a state for you, a vibration of love, and then allow that love to be radiated out to all the planet, all the waters, all the air, all the people. Literally just offer that love up as an energy to all that is on this planet. And do that for 5 minutes, at least twice a day. If you can't do it at 12 p.m. and 12 a.m., then pick 2 other 12-hour times. It's important that they be 12 hours apart. The way he explained that to me is that because we got 12 time zones around the planet, or we got 12 time zones around the planet, and every hour, if at 12 o'clock, if somebody's doing it at 12 o'clock in that part of the world, then it literally starts a movement of energy around the planet. That vibrational love of the planet, everybody starts to sustain. So it's almost like everybody's taking a push at the wheel from where they are. So if we had a bicycle wheel, and I pushed it here, and somebody pushed it from up there, and somebody pushed it down there, and somebody pushed it from below, we could really get that energy flowing. And that's what 1 Billion Strong is designed to do, to get people to radiate that vibrational energy of love out to all and everything on this planet, so that we build that momentum of love up. But as I was saying earlier, it's really important that we still go out and share the truth with other people. That forcing your will on another is wrong. Forcing others to do that which goes against their natural inclinations is wrong. I mean, we did that to the LGBTQ community for decades and centuries. They were persecuted and marginalized and breeded, murdered, and mistreated, as were many other cultures throughout history, the natives, the blacks, the Jews. There were many different people from many different cultures that were marginalized because of their beliefs. And we see that process of marginalization happening again, because now there's vaccinated, unvaccinated, masked and unmasked. And now we've created more splinters for humanity to deal with. And yet each person is free to make that choice. If they want to do this or they want to do that, they should feel free and safe enough that they can make a choice and be honored for it. So please respect others regardless of their choices. Whether they want to get a vaccine or not a vaccine, or get a face, wear a face mask. Respect their choice. Respect everyone's choice. That's what creation is about, respecting the creative process. So please do that. Go out and speak your truth. Thank you, Con. Great question. Wonderful. Sudden drop there, eh? Question from Magnet. If the law of abundance states that whatever I ask for, I am given, then if I ask for a disease and get it, can it be said to be suffering? I am getting what I asked. If I'm getting what I asked for, a lot of people don't even know that they are asking for suffering. They go around, they're afraid of this disease or afraid of that thing, or they're afraid that might happen. Then it happens to them. They're not aware that their thinking makes it so. Very few people understand the creative process. Yeah, John is saying very few people understand that the emotional process is of far greater power than your thought process or your biological process. You must understand that the nature of working with energy is such that it is almost immutable and unstoppable. So whether you choose to focus your emotion on joy or fear, the effects of it are unique to each one of those. The effects of love are very different than the effects of fear as an emotion. Remember, your emotion is literally a movement of energy in creative application. It's literally affecting time, space, and matter. You must understand this. That is the most important element. That emotion is what is organizing the conditions. A thought can certainly stimulate a quality of emotion, but it is the attention to the emotion that gives it its power. So you may think a thought, I'm afraid, but 2 seconds later you may think the thought, I'm not afraid, and you'll find that emotion disappears very quickly. The emotion goes from fear to not being afraid. So a thought can stimulate one, but if you give attention to the fearful emotion, you'll amplify it very quickly. If you give attention to the joyful emotion, you'll amplify that very quickly. For the nature of what you are is you actually feed life. Yeah, because you're an extension of Source, you feed life to your creations. Wherever you put your attention, you are feeding life to your creations. And very few people understand this, and so they simply throw their life into their suffering as equally as they can throw their life into their bliss. Wow. It's a great question, Magnet. Got time for a couple more questions. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, that was really beautiful, the 12-hour thing that John said. It made perfect sense to me the way he explained it. Like I said, if you look at a bicycle wheel, right, and if I hit it here with my hand and somebody up there hits it and somebody up there hits it and somebody up hits it, it starts this, you can actually get a lot more speed out of that wheel with everybody at different points keeping the energy moving. And that meditation does that process. Let's just see if I missed any questions here. You're very welcome. Yes, Ruthie, you can, no, you don't, it's not about the person. The person who has the urge for the cigarettes, the person who has an urge for the beer or the caffeine or the cigarette, the urge for that, remember, because we're conditioned by environment, we're all conditioned by environment from the moment we're born that our needs are met from the world. So we're conditioned when we have a need to try and get it fulfilled from the world. But when you go to the urge inside for the cigarette, instead of what is the urge, what is that that's just trying to emerge? What is the specific expression within me that's connected to this energy called the urge? Because the urge is an energy you feel in your body. It doesn't matter what they say about chemical addiction, forget that. It's an energy that's suddenly emerging to your conscious awareness that says, I need something. And so you have to ask it, what is it that needs to be expressed? You ask the urge that question. What is the expression? And listen very carefully. I was very fortunate and blessed that my mind somehow offered that up. Writing. I literally saw a pencil in my head and I started writing and it changed everything. It changed everything. Yeah. Please remember to give this, like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, share this video out with others. This information is so valuable at this time, especially during this ascension process when the energies are so high that either energy can be used either negatively or positively. So we got all these ascension energies coming into the planet from the galactic center, from the central sun, from the Earth's core. We got all these ascension energies impacting humanity. And that energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be changed into one state or another. It can be used as fearful. It can be used as love. It's just energy. So align yourself to vibrations of love as consciously and deliberately as you can. And be willing to stand by that wherever you go. Remember, we're in a dimension of free will and free choice. Yeah, thank you so much. Question from Heather. So many bad people are constantly attacking in the physical. I've shut away all that have, but now stalking and aggression has begun. I'm positive, but it is affecting me. You know, yeah, okay, I will, just a second. Sorry, he's laughing at me. He's saying, you must understand that it is the pursuit inside that must be released. You must release the pursuit inside. There is deep in your psyche, there is deep in your biology, the belief of being pursued. And regardless of the fact that this has come from other lifetimes as well, you must release your fear of being pursued and replace it with your love of feeling free. To go deeply into your love of feeling free. and to replace the old energy with that, to literally recognize the old and bring it and create the new of I am free, I am free, I am free, I am free, and I am grateful. You must understand there's different qualities of energy that you can only change now, even if the events that triggered this sense of being pursued came from other lifetimes. You still must release that energy and restore a new one. To restore your joy at being free, to feel that, especially when the symptoms of the old self seek to assert themselves in that way. In other words, the residual memory of that lifetime where you were pursued, and, well, we will leave it at that, where you were pursued, you still carry that residual emotion, which is fear and terror, and you need to now relinquish those and replace them with joy and happiness. But do not try to deny them, rather offer them your love. Give your love and joy to those emotions of fear, and they shall be transcended. It's funny, I was this just popped in my head from Master Jesus. He talks, you hear biblical stories about Master Jesus they're out on the Sea of Galilee and the sea is all stormy, and these disciples are terrified. What are we going to do? And he says, relax, guys. And he raised his hands up, and the winds and the waters became still. Now, he wanted to clarify that for us, and he said to me, it's important you understand that while it can and you may alter and change actual conditions of the environment, that particular lesson is to be understood more so in the context of your thoughts and emotions. That when your thoughts and emotions become uncontrolled, you must be as I am and still the waters. Be still and know that I am. You must declare that, for your thoughts and emotions are very particular in terms of how they will impact time and space. You must be very, very conscious of this. So you may say to your mind, be still, my dear one, be still, my body, be still. And as my students throughout the times have learned this process, they have cultivated minds that are undisturbed and quiet, bodies that are healthy and immaculate, emotions that are still and peaceful, that run very deep with love and creation. Thank you, brother. Well, thank you for all these super chats, guys. Really appreciate them. That's wonderful. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Question from Lauren. May I have a message for today? Wow. Something. There's something that happened. They're saying 9 years ago. There's something that's just behind you. You're still holding onto it. They're showing it right between your shoulder blades. There's an energy between your shoulder blades that needs to be released. It's from an event that happened 9 years ago. And the being that's saying this is the words that are coming are the words dragon fire. This has to be released from that space between the shoulder blades. That event that was like 5 to 8 years ago. Yes. They're saying if you move your awareness to that space, you can get the images that remind you of the actual event and then release the emotional energies that are stored there. Replace them with love. Wow. Question from Kathy. It's my best friend's birthday today. She's a healer. I would love to bring her back a birthday message to her. Oh, wonderful. Tell her that the Master's hand rests upon her heart, and the light that shines through her is the same light that shines through him, that she is as he is, in the process of performing the miraculous as the normal. Continue to have faith as you continue to develop your understanding of this gift of healing that you offer to others. Yes. He's saying that whenever she heals, she will feel his hands with him, for you are not separate from I. And that, this is coming from Master Jesus, if you want to know. There's a lot of healers. He's here aiding a lot of healers right now, too. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy, there's a whole bunch there energetically that's been transmitted to your friend, that there was a blessing given to your friend that she's receiving right now. So give her those words, but there was more to it than just the words. Please know that. Wow. Thank you so much. Okay, question from Magnet. Could I have a message from my guide, Luke? I have a hard time hearing him clearly. He says you're not drinking enough water. He says you're not drinking enough water. When you try to communicate with me, drink water. Drink water. It will allow the energy to come through easier. Yes. Something about the button. I don't know. Something about a button. I don't know what he means by that. But he's saying something about putting the button, something on the button. I'm just getting, that's very strong. Something on the button. Whatever that means. I get the feeling it's like a physical button or a button you wear, but it's something about the button. Yeah. Wow, cool. Thank you so much. One more question, and we're going to call it a day. Question from Maria. I'm having family reunion this weekend. Any message of wisdom on how the wave? I am the only one unvaxxed. Congratulations to all of them. They all exercise. Everybody's exercising free will and free choice. But what you're asking for, you already possess. But do not go there in fear. Do not even go there to discuss those things. It is not important. What is important is the gathering of those who choose to join in love, not in judgment. Please remember this. Go there without fear. Go there without fear. Yes. And do not take on their judgment either. Do not take on their judgment either. You may simply say, thank you for asking. Just simply say, thank you for asking. But yes, you also drink lots of water in this. Drink lots of water while you are there. Wow. I want to thank my guardian angel, John. I want to thank that person's guardian angel, Luke, for coming in. I want to thank Master Jesus for coming through for us today, too. And I want to thank all of you guys for showing up today, for supporting this channel. If you want to know more about the work that we do, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and check out what we're all about. There's courses and classes and etc. If you want to support this channel, as people have done, you can use the super chats here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And you can also become a member of my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. All the links are on my YouTube videos underneath in the description box. I want to thank you all for being here today. Much love to all of you. I will see you again on Wednesday on Shortcuts for Your Soul Wednesday edition. Bye, everybody. Much love.